IPMNation.com.
Welcome, everybody, to Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. This is Matt from IPMNation.com, coming to you as we do every week now from the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia. The studionh.com is the website if you want to check out this wonderful place. Funky little store here, gift shop, art studio, etc. Very, very cool place, and very grateful to Melissa for having us here every week to do the show. And definitely want to encourage everyone too, if you're in central New Hampshire, you want to check out and support local businesses. So like I said, the studio, it's at 50 Canal Street right downtown here in Laconia. And of course also Local Outbreak, sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com and you can hire Mr. Tim Martin. He does a great job. He will show up and DJ your event, your shindig, your hootenanny, whatever it may be. CentralNHEvents.com. And Tim's a big part of what makes this show possible because we are using his equipment. And this week here on Local Outbreak, we have with us Michael Anderson, also known as Evil Mike.
Hey, what's going on, man?
I like to think of you. You're Evil Mike to me.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I always tell my friends call me, people that I meet, you know what I mean? Like, I say, hey, you know, my friends call me evil. And they always look at me and I laugh and I'm like, you'll see.
There we go. And we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. You've had quite a career here in the local music scene and gotten out of the scene too and done some traveling around. But so we'll come back and chat in a minute. But what do you want to play to start the show?
Well, let's start this. Start the show off with my old band called Thick. This song is called Beneath Me.
Okay, and we should clarify, Thick is spelled how?
Thyk.
All right, so this is Beneath Me from Thick. This is going back a few years with Evil Mike here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
'Cause you are fucking beneath me, you motherfucker.
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. This is Matt from IPMNation.com, and we are at the studio in downtown Laconia. And sitting here tonight with Evil Mike, also known as Michael Anderson. Also known. Do you have any other names?
No, man.
You never know. I mean, I feel like there's you're like mysterious a little bit. Like there's things I don't know about you. There's probably a lot I don't know about you.
Yeah, like on Yahoo, my name's Evil Mike Thick.
Oh, okay. Yahoo email?
It's a different. That's a different guy, though, man. He doesn't come around very often. You know what I'm saying?
So, whatever happened to Thick?
As things start to get progressively better for the band, I guess you could say the stress really just kind of, everybody was going in different directions. Everybody thought the band was going in different directions. And I guess some people may have been essentially afraid of the success, so they self-destructed. And I don't know, everybody just kind of went their own separate ways right in the middle of everybody. Like, things were really starting to take off. I mean, we would play, no matter where we played, it was pretty much packed.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was like a machine that kept on going until it was like a spark of interest from, some outside, I don't want to say record labels, but some important people. And, it would get to the point where every time we'd play a show, there'd usually be somebody that comes in and talks to somebody, and the guy that runs the show tonight would be like, oh, this guy came over to me talking to me. I don't know who he was, but he seemed kind of important. He was asking some questions about how we do and this and that. And I was like, oh, cool, And then, after a while, it wasn't very long before everybody just kind of detonated and, had a falling out and this and that. And it was pretty much over.
Right. You've had a long career in the music scene here in New Hampshire, especially centered around Manchester. How many bands have you been in around here?
Well, I started my actual first official band was Thick. That actually started in early 1990. Actually, it was 2000.
Okay.
No. I'm sorry. It was the summer of 1999, but we recorded our first demo in 2000.
Okay.
And then I went on from Thick. I joined a band called Hostile Witness because Mark from A Simple Complex, what's up, Mark? Him and Rich Curtis, which is now drummer of Broken Hell, who actually has always been the drummer of Broken Hell. What am I talking about? And he basically came over and they were like, look, you're not doing anything. We want you to sing for Hostile Witness. And I was like, all right, I'll think about it. And then I listened to him and I was like, this is going to be cool because Thick was death metal and Hostile Witness was more of like a hardcore band. So that was like a really cool change for me. Plus I wasn't playing guitar, so I could just essentially fine-tune my frontman skills without having a guitar in my hand.
Sure.
And then from Hostile Witness, Rich and I formed Broken Hell, original back, that was at 2006? 2007, I say, somewhere around there. 2006, 2007.
I think 2007, yeah.
Somewhere in that region. And we never essentially broke up. We just kind of, Rich, he does a lot of traveling for his job, and we all got pretty much busy, so we kind of just put things on hold. And then from that point, I started a band called Torn, and that was good for about, I don't know, I'd say about 2, 3, 4 years maybe at that most.
And like Thick, Torn also has an alternate spelling.
Yeah, well, everything that I do had to have something, except for Broken Hell seemed to be just very cut and dry. There was no screwing around there.
Yeah.
Torn was THOUR. No, what the fuck?
TOURN.
TOURN. Yeah. That's how it goes. And we recorded an album and started playing places, and the interest was there, but we just never really got. We never really, I guess, created that big spark to get the big crowds like Thick used to get.
Yeah.
So, I'm not one to really essentially. I don't want to say waste my time, but I'm not really one to really sit around and beat a dead horse. Once we kind of realize that things don't seem to be going anywhere. I may have that extreme personality where I can look at it and go, this doesn't seem to be doing anything, and I don't want to wait around until I'm 45 years old and go, hey, I think I want a new band, man.
Right.
So here I am, 33, and I'm really starting to fine-tune some aspects of what I've been doing, and And, well, actually, straight out of Torn, as soon as I pretty much put Torn to rest, I started playing with a bunch of other people. Like, I was hired on from Gruff Entertainment to be a producer's assistant. And that was really cool. I ended up engineering, producing, performing on his album, which is called Spiritual War, Good versus Evil, which is actually really funny because when we discovered that what Nick wanted to put as the title of the album, he was like, what do you think? And I was like, what about Good versus Evil? You know, essentially because I perform on it and so doesn't he. And for me, it was funny because I'm like, yeah, good versus me. But it's your album.
Right. So who is that? Who's
Nick Groff? He's actually executive producer and co-host of Ghost Adventures on Travel Channel.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, that's huge. Now, how did you meet him? How'd you get involved in that?
Nick and I were actually friends since we were kids back in, going all the way back to Memorial School, which is middle school. And we were friends ever since then. And then, he pretty much did his thing and I went off and did music. And we always did kind of music together. And then it was time to, he came back to town and said, I'm going to be moving back here. And I was like, hey, man, I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I've, really been focusing in on this audio engineering and producing and things like that. It's, always been a thing of mine since every time that Thick was over in the studio, anytime that we did anything with Broken Hell, I was always right there with the audio engineer in depth, almost like I was producing my own album, but yet they were still working with me too. Mm-hmm. So it was always something that really kind of sparked my interest. Yeah. So I decided to really just, I'm a self-starting, do-it-yourself kind of guy. So I said, if I don't say, it was the smartest thing I ever did. Yeah. Yeah. Besides picking up the guitar and learning how to scream my ass off. Yeah.
So now how long did that, so did you tour with that project or what?
We did one show down in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky for Screamfest. And it was funny because we actually, Nick hired in members of Parliament Funkadelics, George Clinton Funkadelics. Yeah. So I was playing with the lead keyboardist and the drummer. Rico and Danny, and phenomenal array of people. And then DJ Cause was one of them. DJ Cause is actually a person that I still do music with today. I have a project with him. We call ourselves Cause and Evil Effects.
Oh wow!
It's kind of a electro, kind of dubstep kind of thing. Yeah. And yeah, man, that was a good time. But we only did one show, and we planned on doing a whole tour, but with Nick and Ghost Adventures, his traveling so much and really trying to effectively set up a tour so that we're not all idle waiting or just doing excessive amounts of plane travel. And at that point, who would cover all that? Right. You'd have to sacrifice so much money from whatever potential ticket sales and try to base it off of, am I going to be driving to the next show? Right. Or am I going to be flying to the next show? Yeah. And, all those indefinites, and just never really panned out. And at that point, I decided to go do my own thing. So I had finished the album with Nick, and then we both kind of decided that, I was going to go do my own thing because in my heart, that's really what I wanted to do. Sure. It was nice to actually work for somebody like him, but I also knew it was time for me to move on and kind of do my stuff. And he respected that. We both kind of felt the same way, so that's kind of the way it goes.
You must have learned a lot from that experience, though.
I learned a lot personally, but a lot about people and how to interact with people and what they expect. And, what I ultimately learned was just what it all comes down to is just goddamn money. Yeah. And I also learned, too, that, sometimes it has nothing to do with talent. It's just money. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And who's around at the time. And that's another thing that I learned, too. When I do my thing now, when I do other things for people with Anderson Audio, it's, I'm not going to be sacrificing talent for cost. It's going to be, it's a passion thing, Right. If you really want to perform and you're going to be requesting like $2,000 or $3,000, then I don't know what you're doing. You're not performing. You're just you're being hired to play music.
Right.
And that's not what I'm looking for. I need people with passion. I need people with drive. I want people that have a goal, that know the big picture, that know what it's all about, and ultimately are kind of in my position. I don't even really want to work with anybody that's too big, because I don't know, it might just fall apart essentially, because I might not be on the same page.
Sure.
I mean, these are all the things that are all theoretical and whatnot, but things that I think about, because I feel as if I keep the direction that I'm going and keep branching out, I'm more interested in actually helping the people that want to become uber famous than trying to become stupid famous myself, because it's not that big of a deal to me. The way I look at it is, when it happens, if it happens, it will happen.
What's funny, though, is you have this, and I've always had that sense about you, but at the same time, you have this sort of this persona, this evil Mike persona, which is very marketable. So it's kind of a paradox, really. I mean, I'm sure you think about all this anyway, but, you know, that you aren't necessarily interested in being uber famous yourself, as you put it, and yet you have this persona that has that potential. And, you know, like, I mean, I'm saying to you all the time, you know, we gotta get you doing a regular radio gig or something to really kind of exploit that persona, because it is marketable and it is very engaging. And if you, obviously music is a way to do that, but also too, just you talking, you know, you have that thing that grabs people's interest. You know, there's the evil Mike persona. You know, you're also very articulate when you speak, so people are going to listen to you. So you have that going for you. So it's almost as though, like, from an outsider's perspective, like, do you know what you have?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're very like you're humble. Like you're since I've known you, you've never been someone who, I mean, you're confident in what you do, but you've never been like an egotistical jerk or anything like that. But you do know, you realize what you have in, you know, evil Mike, so to speak.
Oh, I know exactly what it is, but I'm not going to be the guy to throw myself out there and go, hey, everybody, guess what? I'm the shit.
Right.
I'm going to show you that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come out and say it.
Right.
But I'm going to let that for you to decide, because, to be quite honest with you, I'm not seeking your approval.
Right.
I already know what I can do. But my big thing is I know it will happen eventually, somehow, some way, in some fashion. But exactly where and to claim my stake in it, I think it might be a little premature, because, like, I could start off doing crazy death metal stuff and go back into that, which is kind of, I think, you know, a portion of where we're headed now. But to go back and say, hey, death metal community, Evil Mike's back. You know, all the new people have no fucking idea who I am. But if you've been in the scene for the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, then more than likely you know who I am.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, you, like I said, because you've done a lot in the scene here, and people definitely know you. Let's play another track. What do you want to play? You brought a bunch of tunes with you tonight. So
all right. So this next one, we're going to actually do the last Thick song that I brought. And this is always something that we brought out at the very, very last song.
Really?
And actually, we would actually play our version of Cheech and Chong's Earache My Eye. And then right at the very end of that, I would stick my middle finger in the air and I would scream out to the crowd, fuck you, you motherfucker, sleep well. And we would count it in 1, 2, 3. And that was always like the cherry of the on the top of the ice cream there, because boy, oh boy, what a song to end the night with. Yeah. And always grab people's attention, because it's a very potent song.
Yeah. All right, cool. So this is so it's Earache My Eye. It's a version of that?
No. This is actually the studio version of Sleep Well, motherfucker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. And this is
keep in mind, it's actually 10 years old.
Oh, okay. All right. That's all right. Hey, music is timeless, or good music is anyway, so not a problem. All right. So this is Thick, Evil Mike's band from... this was the first one you said? The first real band you...
Yeah.
Okay. Evil Mike's original band, Thick, here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
War
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com, and this is Matt from IPMNation.com. We are at the studio in downtown Laconia with Evil Mike, or Michael Anderson, and we were actually just talking off air. Melissa brought something up and reminded me of your singing technique, and you're one of those guys who can do that growl or whatever it is that you call it.
Oh, yeah.
And we've had conversations about that in the past, about how you do that. I can't do it, and I always marvel at how some people can do it without, really just hurting your throat. And there's a technique to it, right? There's a way you sort of you don't just growl and then get used to it.
No.
There's a way you learn to do that.
Well, since I was a kid, I was able to do voices.
Yeah.
So I've always had you ever watching back in the 80s as a Police Academy. Mm-hmm. So there was a guy on there named Motormouth Jones.
Yeah.
And when I was a little kid, I used to think this guy was absolutely insane. He can make so many fucked up sounds from his mouth, and it's always continuous. You don't hear him breathing, you don't hear him pausing. So he's learned to actually make these noises on an inhale and an exhale while he's essentially using these techniques to basically bounce in and out of characters and sounds and noises. And I thought to myself, that was really cool. So I'd start to make noises with my voice, and essentially I trained myself how to, when I hear something or I hear something in my head, I can essentially try to duplicate it or replicate it to the best of my ability out my voice.
Yeah.
And so when it came to the metal, it was funny because I always used to listen, as a kid, I listened to a lot of, speed metal, Anthrax,
mm-hmm.
Testament, Metallica, and then when I hit my teenage years, I really got more into Pantera, and that's really what stuck with me the most.
Sure.
So I grew up on Metallica and lived my life with Pantera.
Yeah.
And listening to Phil, it was to me that was ultimate. Nobody in the world could scream like Phil.
Sure.
And his voice is just raspiness to the energy and the anger and everything that came out of it when he did it. It was just amazing. You could feel it. And then Dimebag would play the guitar. It would just, as a guitar player, I'm blown away on both sides. And it would just completely blow my mind to pieces. So now when I learned how to do it myself, it's really kind of I call it the bagpipe technology thing. You never deflate and you never overinflate. You always got to keep it, pressurized, and you got to, you just got to do it right. And once you figure out where you're comfortable without destroying your voice, because my problem is right now is I have massive acid erosion in my throat, so I don't have the voice that I used to.
Well, even just your speaking voice is deeper than it was
lot
when
deeper,
I met you.
Yeah, a lot deeper.
I mean, you always had a deep voice, but it's So what is that called that you have in your throat?
It's essentially massive acid indigestion, but it just was so bad. It's called acid erosion and throat.
Okay.
So my trachea has been
beat up. It's been damaged. So will that, if you were to take time without singing, would it heal, or is it just kind of permanent, the damage that you've done thus far?
I'm not really sure, and I haven't really got to the point where I was able to chat with a doctor more about it.
Yeah.
But this is kind of it's new for the past, I'd say, within the last year.
Okay.
I'd started noticing this time last year, and right around June, it really started to it was one night where I was talking, and then it was boom, my voice is gone.
No kidding.
And I was all right, well, I'm just talking a lot. And then it was, really never came back.
Yeah.
And no matter what, I haven't been singing or I haven't been recording vocals in over a year. So
yeah.
it was the last thing that I did. And
yeah.
So I haven't been stressing anything out. It's purely been neglect on my behalf of
right.
my ridiculous diet.
Right. Wow. Is there any pain associated with that? Do you have any discomfort, or is it just...
No, it's just I got to push. I got to
yeah.
I have to push harder than normal to make noises come out, essentially.
Yeah, interesting. Also on the singing part too, we've talked off air about there's a DVD. Was it called The Art of Screaming?
Rich showed me that one day.
Yeah.
And essentially that's what really like sealed the deal on, okay, I think that I knew what I was doing, but watching that really just clarified a lot of stuff to me.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because Rich was like, hey, check this out. We were watching it, and I was like, holy shit, I already do that.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad I'm doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. So tell me a little bit about, and it's kind of funny to ask it this way, but tell me about Broken Hell, your current project.
Well, you have been busy, so it is a legitimate question.
Yes, yes.
We've recently, as of, what the hell, I'd say October, I want to say maybe the first week of October, so just say October 1st. Was like essentially the relaunch of interest in Broken Hell. Did a lot of things electronically, and I had this insatiable desire to just rock the fuck out and stop trying to do dubstep and electronic music for a little bit.
Yeah.
Even hip hop for that matter. I mean, I was really just wanting to get back to what I feel like what I'm best at. And the new stuff that's been coming out. When I called everybody and got everybody back on board, it was great because it was like 1, 2, 3. I think it was all in a matter of less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, I just talked to fucking Rich. You ready to do this, Matt? And he's like, actually, I left you a message, I think, and then you called me back. Absolutely, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Hey, you text me, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I called school. I was like, hey, yeah, I just talked to Rich. He's cool. He said, yeah, well, absolutely, we'll do it. And then I talked to Matt. He's on board. And this is, well, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, the band never did officially break up, so.
no, we just stopped playing.
Yeah. Rich moved away, and
Yeah.
he's been busy. He's in another state, but not too far.
No,
in
no.
This
In
internet
the
era.
Internet era, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the digital age, I call it. It makes everything possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've been piecing together our new album and essentially digitally writing, I like to call it, because no longer will you sit in a jam room with 4 people, play a bunch of shit, forget all of it, come back a week later, play a whole bunch of new shit, forget all that, and then maybe 3 or 4 weeks down the road, you might remember a riff or two from a month or so ago that it's been sticking with you.
Right.
Now it feels like every cool thing that kind of just comes out, you know, we're recording it, we're documenting it. The way that I record everything is I do the band name, the date, and BPM.
Yeah.
Just so that I know, like, right off the bat, like how many. Well, that's actually an electronic thing that kind of stuck with me spewed into the metal version, because that way there I can essentially
beats per minute.
Yeah, I know what my tempos are, and
Yeah.
if I could look at the date, I already know. Oh, that's a fast song. This will be cool. Check this out. 190, and it's actually one of the songs we have is 190 BPM.
Yeah.
Which is fast.
Yes. But yeah, you have all this production experience now, which is obviously, and that's the thing, music or any creative endeavor, everything that you do is ends up being applicable, all that knowledge to other things that that on the surface might not seem alike. Some of the other genres that you've been working in might not seem like what Broken Hell is, but there's still lessons from that you can apply to Broken Hell, which you've been actively doing. And the first time I came up to your house, I was really impressed with. I wasn't expecting this whole setup, and
Oh yeah, Rich really affected me big time.
Yeah.
Rich was actually my major influence on realizing that audio engineering is possible for anybody that wants to actually do it.
yeah,
And I literally took steps. I went and got 1 year. We had got a family computer, because usually we always have a computer in the house.
Sure.
So we bought a new one, and then so I started keeping all my music on it, and everybody was using it, and then I started talking to Rich, and I was like, hey, blah 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 blah. And he used to work for actually the software company that I use currently, and he's like, why don't you try this out, and blah 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 blah. So he gave me a demo version of what they call it's home edition. And I don't want to say mastered it, but I was pretty much bored with it within like 4 days.
wow,
And I was like, I need something a little bit more technical. I'm like, my big picture in my head of what I'm trying to produce and do is really not being met by these capabilities in this software. And so you hooked me up with the producer edition, and that's actually what I've been using for the last 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Now, as far as Anderson Audio, are you taking on new clients, or are you just focusing on the Broken Hell stuff? Or
I've really kind of learned that, unless I have a financial backer or unless I have money in the bank, startup costs of some sort of business like this in the location that I live in is extremely just basically difficult. Because there's no huge need for somebody to do it, like audio.
Yeah.
I mean, in any case.
you can record at home now.
Yeah, everybody can record at home. So what the hell do you need me for?
Right.
I mean, it's just the people that don't want to take the time to learn it like I did.
Right. Well, plus, too, not everyone has an ear for producing and engineering and all that stuff, mixing and mastering. I mean, some people are very talented musicians, great songwriters, can play well, but are either completely intimidated by or can't quite grasp any of the recording aspect of it. So I do think there is a market for what you do, but you're right, it can be very tough. Like any business, it can be the startup costs can be prohibitive, and you have to kind of prioritize whether it's something you really want to do or whether you want to focus on your own stuff and whatnot. So as someone, before we wrap up this segment too, as someone who's done a lot in the scene in New Hampshire and played in these bands, do you have any advice for somebody maybe just starting out in the scene, maybe somebody right out of high school who wants to start a band or is in a band and just wants to, because you've had some projects with some longevity. I mean, Thick, you did that for a couple times for a number of years. So
6 years.
6 years total. Yeah. So I mean that can be a long time for a band around here that's playing original music to survive. So I mean, do you have any advice for these youngins who are trying it out for the first time?
Have two goals whenever you're doing anything: a short-term and a long-term goal.
Interesting.
Understand the big picture of what you're trying to do and figure out how to get there. If you want it bad enough, you'll get there. And you'll be your own worst enemy, because if you don't do anything at all, it's your own damn fault. So make sure you have the support, because if you go do a show, and I mean, we've all been there, it sucks playing to your girlfriend and the bartender or some random person that's just trying to have a fucking beer.
Right.
Don't let that discourage you, because there's been plenty of nights where that's happened to me, and then there's been plenty of nights where I've walked in and come out back from essentially the van or whatever, wherever we were, or there's a backstage area, come out from backstage and fucking place is packed.
Yeah.
So, but that was all on sheer will and determination and networking. If you believe in yourself, don't stop and just continue, and don't ever listen to anybody. Either they say it or they love it or they hate it. That's great. But it doesn't fucking matter, because it all depends on how hard you work and how bad you want to make it.
Right.
So my advice to you is, if you're going to do it, fucking do it. If you just want to do it for fun, then understand that.
Right. Yeah, very well said. Very well said. Well, Mike, let's play another track. What do you want to play?
All right, now we're going to get into Broken Hell of 2006. This song right here is actually started off with Mr. Matt Connerton in a therapy session.
Hate that guy. He's a D-bag.
And this song is called Fake. And basically when we wrote it, quick little tidbit actually about Broken Hell's, that album that we did, we actually wrote that in a month.
Yeah.
That was all like, hey, Rich, what are we doing today? Hey, let's record a couple of songs. All right, cool. Then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, what are you doing? Oh, let's go over. Boom, 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 boom. So this song was actually written as in the point of view that you've lived your life doing whatever the hell you want, and then in this situation, this person would be casted down into hell. So this is the soundtrack to what happens to people on the River of Styx. And I'm actually the guy at the front of the podium on the boat looking at all the people as I'm bringing them into hell.
Yeah.
And this is basically that soundtrack.
Yeah, awesome. This is a favorite of mine. Fantastic. All right, so this is Fake from Broken Hell here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com.
You are about to embark on a journey. A very interesting journey. To a very interesting place. Not a particularly comfortable place. But you're going to have to get used to being there because you're going to be there for a very long time. An eternity.
Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. This is Matt from IPMNation.com, and we are at the studio. Want to remind everybody, of course, about the studio at 50 Canal Street in downtown Laconia, New Hampshire. So if you're in central New Hampshire, please come on by. Very, very cool place, and very grateful to Melissa for having us here every Tuesday night. If you're ever, by the way, if you want to stop in and check out the show while we're recording, Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock is when we record Local Outbreak every week, and then it airs, of course, Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on 100.1 The Planet here in central New Hampshire. And, of course, you can find all the episodes. We archive everything at IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak. So you can find, going all the way back to the beginning of the show, every episode of Local Outbreak ever. is archived on the website. And, of course, want to remind everybody, too, of course, that Local Outbreak also sponsored by Central NH Events. If you need a DJ for your event, go to centralnhevents.com. You can hire Mr. Tim Martin. There is a picture of Tim on the website, so you can see who will be showing up at your home to DJ your event, because, you can never be too careful. When that van pulls up with that equipment, you never know. It could be a ruse.
Be bombs.
Yes. You can't be too careful.
Goddamn Al-Qaeda.
I know, right? They're everywhere. Could be a sleeper cell.
Taliban.
But this way you can make sure it's Tim. So you look at Tim on the website, and then you hire him to do your event. So, Evil Michael Anderson. This has been really cool. For people who want to know more about Broken Hell, we'll update the profile on ipmnation.com/brokenhell, and we'll get the Facebook page up and running again, because that's been dormant as the project was on hiatus for a while. But we'll get the Facebook up and everything else. We'll have links to everything right there at ipmnation.com/brokenhell. Maybe we'll throw up a link to the MySpace too. It does.
It's an archive.
It does still exist. It does. No one really cares about MySpace anymore. But
my place?
My place. Yeah. But they never take. They don't take anything down.
No, it's amazing.
You can go years without logging into your account, and it doesn't matter. It just stays there.
I laughed my ass off because I found the old thick one.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
I was like, holy shit! It's still on the fucking web.
Yeah, like the old My Life Crisis page is still there,
wow,
and there's pictures of me on there with long hair. And so they just nothing goes away.
Justin Timberlake paid a lot of money to keep that shit up there.
He did, yes. So thank you to JT.
Yeah, buddy.
So, but yeah, you can go online to keep up with everything going on with Broken Hell. And we didn't play any tonight, but are you going to be doing any more recording any more dubstep stuff too in the future? Or?
Actually, yes, because DJ Cause and I, we were working on Cause and Evil Effects. We were going to release an album, and what ended up happening was I wasn't satisfied with what I had. I wanted to actually pause just to kind of reassess what I've been doing, and then hit it up with essentially fresh ears after a certain amount of time. So that way there I can, reattack the project.
Sure.
And I essentially was not happy with the sound that I was creating. So I had to spend more time with rehearsing, because I actually know how to play the piano now.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And I learned probably a handful more softwares. I started learning all kinds of VST plugins and stuff like that. So, I can make pretty much any sound that I want now. So now that I want to go do something, I don't sit there and just go, all right, I'm in the middle of writing a song, and then I want to put something in there. So then I go to start creating it. And then that process can take anywhere from fucking 10 minutes to, a week.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't even find what you actually really want to do. And you may actually settle with finding a sample, morphing it, and, changing it to the point where, of course it's your own. But I never really wanted to do much with samples. So now I went back to my roots. I'm doing everything, back with programs instead of samples.
Sure.
So I'm essentially performing instead of manipulating.
Right.
So, which is really what I wanted to do. So, yes, I will be doing more stuff and refining the stuff that I already have to bring it, as far as I'm concerned, up to par with where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff. You can check that out on Facebook. It's Cause and Evil Effects.
How is Cause spelled?
KOS.
KOS, okay. Cause and Evil Effects?
Yep.
Okay, very cool. Well, Evil Mike, this has been great. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, cool, man. I like being here. This place is great.
It is very cool, the studio. And, and when I was mentioning the studio, I didn't mention the website again, too, thestudionh.com for people who want to go online and see what it's all about. So, right in downtown Laconia. Support your local businesses. It's important. And, what do you want to play to wrap up the show?
This is my anthem.
Is it a love song? Is it a ballad?
Yes, this is a ballad called Never Break Me.
Ah, yes.
And, I want you to peep this in your speakers.
All right. We're going to peep this in your speakers, people. This is another favorite of mine. This is Never Break Me from Broken Hell here on Local Outbreak on IPMNation.com. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, thanks, man.
IPMNation.com.